Well, hello, friends and followers. Here's a Ten Tec Paragon, which I picked up on eBay. And this thing looked a bit forlorn. It was advertised, I think, in someone's backyard in Florida. And it looked like it had been in storage, or I don't know, or someone died. And a relative was cleaning out the house. I don't know. But anyway, this thing looked pretty beat up, looked pretty forlorn. And I thought, well, let's give it a try and fix it. So I fixed two of these before, and I thought, let's try my luck on this one. And I've had worse radios than this come in. And as you know, I like to fix these. But anyway, this one, what's it running here? I wouldn't even know if that version's good or bad. Anyway, this is a Ten Tec Pegasus. Paragon. It's not a Paragon 2, it's just a Paragon. And being a Paragon's fine. So when I got this thing, I first checked for loose items in it. There was a loose screw floating around, got that out. Powered this thing up, and what did it do? It powered up and did nothing. So I found the display did work, and I could twiddle around on 40 meters. It lost lock. I got the phase loop unlocked message at 22 megahertz and above. So I read the wikis, and they said basically that the phase lock loop from 22 to 30 was malfunctioning. So if you see your phase lock loop malfunctioning, this is probably how to fix it. So I had to dig in here twice and take out the major loop board. So let's go through that. So obviously this radio was being hacked around with because all the screws were out. This screw was in here. The screw is too big. The rest were missing. So anyway, and the bottom cover of this is missing. But if you want to get this board down here, you can just pull this plug off here. On this top board here, there's two plugs. And after all the screws are out, you can just lift this aside carefully and let it flop over and not hopefully wreck any wires. So we'll do that with that. And now this is the major loop board. This is the highest phase lock loop, so this one's 22 to 30. And then they go down from here. I'm not sure how they rank out, but the highest one is here. Next one, and the lowest. So they're controlled through this cable. If this pin is grounded, these are all 5 volts, but if this one's grounded, this one's selected. Likewise, grounded, that's selected, that's selected. You get my drift here. So anyway, to get this board out, it's not too bad. And I took it out twice and had to solder it twice, but I'll show you what I did. So, and using one hand, we'll get the board out. Just take that off. Take this off, and these little wires, these little cables, the coaxes are hard to get back in. So you want to take care on those. I'm not going to show this board going back in because it's too hard with one hand. But I'll take these out, and they're all numbered, so just match the numbers, put them all back in. And we got them all out, I think so. And now there's 4 screws you got to take out, and the board comes right out. So it's not so bad. These boards are not to be had on eBay because they all break, right? So people buy these up. I could probably sell the board for $150 or $200, and somebody probably buy it. It's working the board because people are desperate to get their Paragon working. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sell the board for $150. I'm just going to keep the radio. I may use the radio for a while and sell it. I don't know, but my joy in this is fixing the radio and figuring out the problem. That's what I love to do. That's why I buy these and fix them. It's therapy for my IT job. Okay, so taking 4 screws out here, and the screwdriver's magnetic. I love this screwdriver. These are German-made screwdrivers. You can buy them on Amazon. These are all made by Willa. My gosh, these are wonderful. And if you're going to work on AC and work on finals and amplifiers and linears, you need to get this screwdriver. A bunch of these. These are going to save your life someday if you're working day and night on this stuff, which I don't. Okay, screw number 4 is coming out here. and I'll show you the board. Gotta be careful here because there's static electricity in the wintertime. That'll blow things out. So this radio has been running pretty well. I got 4 of these tempos now. I've been learning how to fix these, and they're a lot of fun. So the board now will come out. It might be kind of stuck on from just being pressed so hard, so you want to kind of give a little shove here, and it'll pop off. Whoops, 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 and then you want to just pull it out. So carefully pull it out. Here it comes. Okay, so make sure you're not full of static electricity. You'll burn this board up. So I remember telling you that this one loop here on the left is bad here. So this is the one I fixed. So this one here, I didn't take the lid off. That would be horrible. But I just was very careful in inspecting and resoldering this thing, and I did it twice. So what you do is this. First of all, there's probably been other people in here screwing around these things. So you just want to compare this. These 3 are working. So you want to kind of look at how this trace pattern looks and how this one looks. Make sure they look the same. And if not, somebody could have, crossed one of these traces. So all I did was, if anything looks suspect, I would suck it out with a solder sucker. Just suck it right out. And that's all I did. And I used a pair of needle nose to kind of run through the tip of a needle nose, which I can't find right now. But basically, somebody had tried to repair this one here before, and it wasn't working. So I went through and solder sucked any joints that looked funny. Just solder sucked them out. Did resoldering, and this guy had put like really crappy flux in here. I guess people say to do that. He had some really nasty flux. So flux is conductive. And when I worked at a company, they would say, they had it way back in ancient history, they had a can of stuff called flux off. So this manager would tell me, hey you, flux off. He would tell me to flux off and show me the can of flux off. Anyway, so I just went through here and tried to scrape all the flux off the best I could. Scraped it off. I went through here and soldered all these. These 2 were suspect. I resoldered those. Actually, I resoldered anything. So if you look at the square box, which is this this VCO, voltage control oscillator, you want to basically hit everything below here, everything, and just make sure it looks symmetrical with these, and make sure it's all soldered. Get a solder sucker and suck off the bad looking joints, and then reapply solder. I'm not sure which one of these is bad. This looked kind of bad over here at one point. These 2 look kind of shady. But I just hit everything. And I don't know, whatever I did, either scraping off excess flux, which could be conductive, or hitting the right joint, this thing came back to life. So I was fairly happy with that. So I read a blog on groups.io for the Ten Tec stuff. And one guy was saying, so these can be measured. So you could put a voltometer right here on that little point there. And then it'll go like from, I guess, like 3 point something volts to like 8 or 9 volts. So at the bottom of the range of the VCO, this will be a low voltage, and then it'll go like 8 or 9 volts. This one, when it wasn't working, this was like 12 or 13 volts here. So it's out of lock. That's about 12 or 13 volts right there. So that was not too good. And you can tune this little slug here if you're way out of tune. That will get you into lock mode. So I did tittle with this slug, but I guess wherever I left it, it just worked. So I didn't really mess with it any further. Should probably measure this when I'm on 20 megahertz or above. Put it like in the middle of the range, 20 to 30, 20 to 30. This thing's 22. Okay, 22 to 30. It's only 8, so put it like 26, and then you can adjust this for a mid-range voltage. So anyway, that's about it. I did some soldering over here too, a little bit. I mean, somebody had really hit. You can see the guy's flux here, how nasty it is. I think it's conductive or something. I don't know. It's bad flux, but it came off like goo when I was taking it off from the other side here. It was just kind of gooey. Anyway, I could use a can of flux off and clean the board up, but it's working now. So I'm not going to molest this board. I'm just going to put it back in and use the radio. But that's my experience here with the Ten Tec board, which has that number there. It's a 92222 board. It's the major VCO board out of the Ten Tec Paragon I. And so again, I just resolder it carefully. Don't shock it with static, and you might come back to life. So this one did come back. Just pop it back in the radio, and if it works, leave it alone. If it doesn't work, you might want to tweak it here. They were talking about this little knob here, which looks like a hack, this little potentiometer. I diddled with that a little bit, but it didn't seem to affect much. It seemed to affect this oscillator at its very end of its range, but it didn't really affect that one. This one, I guess, had a solder problem. So that's about it. And I hope this helps you. I have confidence in fixing your Ten Tec Paragon I. This might apply to Paragon II also, if the board might be a little different. But okay, and the other hint is when you're putting this thing together, it's really hard to get the little coax wires back into the board. So I did find a trick to do that. So here's the little wires here. If I can get one to come out of here. Okay, here they are. So these little guys can bend up easy. So what you do is you find the holes there, and you can tilt this thing to the side and see the little hole that's where the centerpiece goes in through the socket in the side. The later Paragons, I don't think you can do this, but see now, do you see now, I'm looking at 89. You see 89, you see the hole right through there where the wire goes? When you put it into the top, just look through the side like that, see, and there's the hole, and you can guide the wire right in there. I think when I got this radio, I think one of these was bent because the guy just ran out of patience. It wasn't in there, so I don't know. But when you get a radio from eBay, you gotta, check all through it. Just make sure that people get frustrated and they just break things by accident because they just want to get the radio back together and get it out of their house and sell it. So you just gotta check everything out, make sure it's all copacetic. Okay, so that's it. Major loop board on a Ten Tec Paragon I. This is a great radio for listening to AM and shortwave. It covers everything from probably like 1 megahertz and below up to 30. Oh yeah, this one, the AM mode's broken, so I'm kind of bummed about that, but I gotta figure that out next. The potentiometers in this thing are all scruffy. They just need to be cleaned with detox it, but it's not a looker. It probably sat on a porch for a long time or something, or an attic, I don't know, but it works, and the knob turns nice, so it's one for the stable of radios. All right, well, hope this is helpful to you. I know my voice puts people to sleep, so if this helped you sleep, that's also a good thing, right? So take care of yourself. Have a nice day. And hey, this cider is really good. Okay? Thanks. Have a nice day.